everybody. Welcome to the Mindful Tech Club's 8-week digital wellness series. Today we have Binta Dixon, and I'll let her introduce herself in a few minutes. I'm Sarah. I am one half of the Mindful Tech Club, and I'm also a psychedelic integration coach and psychosynthesis coach in training through the Psychospiritual Institute. So I bring that coaching background, that spirituality background into the Mindful Tech Club, and I'm very passionate about seeing people as whole and holistic and helping them to work through their tech addiction and to have a better relationship with technology. So I'm gonna let Fernando introduce himself and he'll explain more about what we do, and then we'll move on from there.
Yep, thank you. Hello, everybody. So, like Sarah said, I'm the other half of the Mindful Tech Club, and my background is in digital wellness. So, I started a company called Trampoline Health to help people struggling with their tech use find a solution that will actually stick and stay long term. What we offer is a mental wellness gym so that people can, strengthen their self-awareness, self-control, and their mental wellness over time. Um, we're a community, and we help people go from like feeling really stuck all the way to to feeling happy, like rediscovering joy, and all of that. As a part of the Mindful Tech Club, we do that in a cohort setting. So what we do is we have cohorts of people who are very similar. They're really small, so 10 or less people, really working on improving their tech habits. We have uh, a curriculum that walks them through exactly all the different stages of, understanding the problem, building specific solutions, and integrating these habits into their daily life. And then we help them be prepared for what comes next. So we help them again integrate it into their daily life, and we give some support after. So this is kind of a little sneak peek into what the Mindful Tech Club cohorts would look like, where we would have experts come in, talk about specific bits and pieces of their toolkit, and again, we would help you integrate these into your day to day, and then also help facilitate some of the communication and help make sure that everything is really specialized towards you and towards digital wellness.
Thanks, Fernando. And to add to that as well, I am running digital wellness events in Philadelphia and Fernando down in Miami. So if y'all are ever in either of those places, you can email us at themindfultechclub@gmail.com or LinkedIn message me or however you find me. But yeah, I'm hosting 13 hikes over the next year in Philadelphia. So it's focused on having no phones. So if you're ever nearby, oh, Binta, you're welcome. I know you're down in DC, so you're not too far, but would love to see some of y'all there that are somewhat local. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Binta Dixon, and I'm going to let her do her introduction herself, but we're really excited to have her here. I really enjoyed our first conversation we had about a month and a half ago at this point, and I could see her passion and the work that she does, so I'm really excited to see what she has to offer this evening.
Thank you, Sarah and Fernando. I'm also so excited to be here with you all today. I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. Right. There we go. Right. Hopefully you all can see that. Yeah. All right. So today, my name is Binta Dixon, and actually, I'll go to the second slide so you can see this. I am a care coach, a well-being coach, a nature-based practitioner, and a lifelong writer. I'm a certified well-being coach through the Duke Health and Wellbeing program. And I've been doing coaching for about 7 years in different capacities. And one of the impetuses for me to actually begin my journey into well-being was my high sensitivity and my kind of my lack of tools around my digital practices. And so this is me. I use nature in my daily life to help ground me as a teacher and also as a friend, as a part of my community. And nature plays such a beautiful role alongside writing and my process. And so that is why today I'm so excited to present Writing Ourselves Well, Journaling and Creative Writing for Digital Wellbeing. And so, as I mentioned, when I first started my journey towards more intentionality around my daily habits. Tech use was one of the first things that I realized that I had I had no support and no tools around. And so it really just started with a fasting from my phone. And I found that not only was it challenging, it brought up a lot of nervous system things in my body, a lot of emotions being disconnected from my device. And I realized that this was not going to be something that I could just accomplish in a weekend or or a couple of days. This was going to be a journey for me to wellness, and that it not only included my relationship to online, but it also implicated my relationships, how I was connected or disconnected from people and to myself, how I was disconnected to myself, from myself. And so I started to get curious. And that curiosity led me to journaling because journaling is something that I have been doing probably since I was 4 or 5 years old in some capacity, writing things as a tool to reflect, to better understand. And so you may be wondering, or if you can put in the chat if you'd like, um, what writing could do to support your digital well-being. And for me, I would say that writing what has always been a place for me to process. Even if I never share that with anyone else, it's something that I can do as a practice in my solitude or with others that help me reconnect to myself. Specifically, we know from the research that writing by hand, not just typing, but actually taking a pen and a paper and writing can it actually implicates a lot of parts of the brain. So versus typing, when you write out something, you're going to activate more aspects of your brain that have to do with emotional regulation, memory, and your neural pathways and your patterns. So you can use writing to support your stress management, to rewrite patterns that you've been dealing with, and to redirect your attention inward. And alongside writing, a specific type of writing is inquiry. And the power of inquiry for me has been huge in my writing and in my wellness journey. What I've found in my own life around inquiry is that it helps me to make better decisions. It helps me to reflect and for deep learning. If I'm working on a particular topic, using inquiry helps me to deepen in my question. As I learn, I ask better questions, deeper questions, and that's a really supportive process. And then access wisdom. Many of us have our inner wisdom, our inner guide inside of us, but if we're never quiet, if we're unable to sit with ourselves, it's hard to hear that. And I know for me, especially when I was in my early 20s, I had a lot of questions. I had so many questions. I had so many um, things that felt uncertain. And so writing became a place where if I didn't have anybody to go to, if there wasn't someone I could call, I could sit down with my journal, most of the time outside, and I could come away with something that was at least a starting point just from my own self-inquiry. I'd love to know if you want to put in the chat, how have you all used writing in the past? Is writing something that feels intuitive or something that maybe feels challenging? Would love to hear from you all around that. And to introduce what we're going to do today around writing, what I love to do in my own personal practice is whether I am trying to improve a habit or I'm assessing what exactly is happening in my emotional body, I start by grounding. And because I'm so excited to be with you all today, I could actually also use some grounding. So we're going to start with a grounding exercise that is also a writing prompt. So if you have a pen and paper, now is a great time to bring that out. And I'll just invite you, as you get that pen and paper, to take a couple deep breaths. We're going to do a body scan. But before we get started, I just invite you to take a moment Feel into your body. Notice your shoulders. Maybe roll your shoulders back a little bit. Notice how your feet are planted on the floor or how your back is against your chair. As you breathe in, just notice how your breath feels. Tune into your feet. See if you can feel your feet. And just notice that wherever you are, you're always connected to the earth. No matter what's going on, how you're feeling before you arrived here. As you're arriving, know that you have support through your breath, through your connection to the earth and yourself. Take a couple more breaths in, maybe expanding your belly, filling up with air and breathing out. And just notice, is there any space that was created? Are you feeling more settled? Do you need to stretch? Do you need water? Just noticing without judgment. And whenever you're ready, we can come back up to the space, into this moment. So this body scan process is something that I do with the elements as a way to support me in when I'm feeling activated and when I'm getting ready to write. So a lot of times my writing process involves meditation and involves a moment to pause. And the writing itself offers a beautiful pause. Yet there are some times when we are so activated that we need we need an additional pause. And so I'm going to invite you into this practice. And the first step is to choose an element. That could be fire, water, air, or earth. There's no right or wrong answer, whatever you're drawn to in this moment. And when you have that element, I'd like you to take a deep breath and imagine that element moving through your body. Is it cool? Is it tingly? Hot? Are you getting some kind of prickles on your skin? Do you feel a cleansing, maybe a rush of water, a warmth from fire, a comforting weight of earth, a quick flow of air? What sensations do you feel? What feelings? What thoughts are coming up for you? As you feel that element moving through your body, I want you to imagine that that moves from the top of your head, down your spine, all the way out your feet and into the earth. Take a couple moments, just be with that element. And when you're ready, you can take your pen and paper, and we're going to take 3 minutes and write about that experience with the element. And I love choice, and because that's just my nature, I like to give a little bit of choice even when I'm doing these. So there's a prompt here you can use, and it is with the element. So I'm going to say, with fire, I wash away shame. With fire, I bring in courage. So that's the prompt that's what I'm going to be writing. And you just write about, you can do that prompt and sit with that. Or you can choose to write about how you experienced that moment with the element. And all things are welcome. So was it comforting? Was there discomfort that came up? Did you feel something move through your body? Starting the timer, so we have 3 minutes for that. Let's see, play some music for us. Just about a minute left. Okay, that is time on that. How was that for you all? Sorry, I feel like I lost track of the chat, but I will tune back in there. See, folks have to share. Awesome. Okay, and so now that we have grounded into the space and we potentially have an element that we could work with to support us, I want to move into a compassionate reflection. So this is an exercise, or this is something that I use as a reflection or an assessment tool for myself. Um, and it's something that I take with a lot of compassion and with a lot of grace for myself. So I want to be clear up front that when we are addressing our patterns, when we are confronting the things that we want to shift, it's, in my experience, not helpful to judge ourselves for what we've done in the past or even how we're showing up around that particular habit. What I do find helpful is to identify what's happening, how we're feeling, and what need we're meeting, and then what we may want to move toward. And so I want us to take about 3 minutes again and answer these questions. And if it's helpful, you can go back to that element and breathe with that element through this. But it's important to kind of take some time and see what social media platforms are you drawn to and use the most. And if you don't use social media, you can use another kind of digital platform. So maybe you are playing video games. So, like, which video games are you drawn to the most on your phone? Or what other apps are you drawn to? What do you feel and think right before you open that app? And so I really want you to imagine yourself in that moment right before you click open your phone or you swipe open your phone. What are you feeling and thinking? And then what is a need that may be possibly being met in those moments? And I did start the timer. Sorry, I didn't mention that, but you can continue writing if you're writing now, and I'll definitely prompt you in about 2.5 minutes. Okay, just about 30 seconds left to wrap up anything you're thinking or writing. Okay. Right. Please bring your last thought to a close. And I'm going to go back to the chat for a minute just to honor the beautiful reflections that are here. Writing has kept me sane over the years, but you tend to fall in and out of the habit. Yes. Using writers to better understand. Yes. And then someone says, I think I just lost 13,000 notes today. Still processing. Yeah, I feel weight lifted off my shoulders. That's wonderful. And I know doing this can bring up some feelings. So I would love to hear how folks are thinking and feeling about what they wrote, especially the need. If you feel comfortable, you could put what need is being met that you identified um, there. And the reason that it's important to identify Yeah. The reason that it's important to identify the need is that once we know why we're doing something, what we're getting out of it, it can be easier to then find other ways to support ourselves. And writing is a beautiful way to acknowledge that and then to place something in place. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, but we do find that the more that you write something, the repetition of handwriting, and then even speaking that out loud is like the step further. It actually helps to rewrite those neural pathways for you and helps. So as you write and then you begin to act, it reinforces some behaviors that we actually want to see. And so now that we've gotten clear on maybe a need, and we've had some experience kind of grounding ourselves with those emotions, we want to create and envision what is our ideal. And writing is a beautiful way to create our reality. I have so many journals that I can go back on and say and look at and things that I wrote about have come to pass. And of course, that's not magic, right? That is the writing is the intention. The action part is what actually brings it to fruition. But we find that when we are writing something and we're consistently looking at that or following up on it, it helps us to take those actions consistently. And so this is visioning practice that I use often, and I invite you all to walk with me. You can close your eyes or keep them open. You want to imagine an ideal morning. What is the first thing you can identify when you wake up that you see? What's the first feeling? What thoughts come to you as you rise? What do you hear, smell, feel? The sun on your face, the warmth of a partner's smile, an animal friend coming to say hello. Is it a child's laughter? The warmth and wholeness of your solitude. Maybe the perfect cup of tea when you come downstairs. And it seems as though there's like a golden carpet that's just rolled out for you and everything is going your way. All green lights as you're on your way to your destinations in the morning. Your relationships are going well. You're connecting with folks. What else is in this perfect day for you? This perfect morning? And how does it feel? Down to the body sensations. Can you feel the smile across your face? The lightness in your chest? Are you standing tall? Feeling secure and loved? This possibility is available. And there's so much gratitude you have to experience this. And if something happens to go wrong in that day, it's quickly and efficiently shifted. Almost like you didn't even have to think about it. You have the tools to manage whatever comes up in this ideal morning, this ideal day. I just ask that you hold that feeling, hold any thoughts, anything that comes up in this ideal, this vision of your perfect morning. And as you open your eyes, come back to the space. I'd love for you to just jot down 4 feelings that you had. What that can be, and feelings, there can be emotions, but I'm also describing body sensation. So this could be warmth, this could be a tingling, it could be a rush, it could also be calmness as a feeling emotion. Um, it could be feeling at peace. Take some time there. Yeah. And so the last kind of practice, writing practice I wanted to share is a personal mantra. I develop mantras for a lot of different things in my life. And I know that we think about mantras as something that might be ancient and like developed by some kind of spiritual leader or a master, but we have the capacity to write our own mantras because we can also write ourselves into the future and into our ideal lives. And so the way I work with these mantras is not only writing them, I speak them out loud. And that is not for everyone, but for me, it helps to reinforce that. And so I will work with a particular mantra for a period of time. Some days I might just write it repetitively, or sometimes I'll just use it when I'm feeling triggered. So if I'm in a moment where I really just want to scroll to alleviate this feeling, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, something's happening in my community, and I feel like I need to have my hands on it. I'll pause and I will come to my mantra. And this one I have, I'm grateful for my digital tools and my healthy boundaries. I'm grateful for what I have access for, and I'm grateful that I know when to stop, when to pause. That's one that I use, and I have that there for you all. But I think it's most powerful if you design these for yourself. And so I have some prompts here that can help you to design a mantra, and I encourage you to work with this yourself and to find one that that really serves you the best. And so I'll invite you to choose one of these and fill it in. Obviously, the third one is not a fill-in. You're happy to use that if you like, but love to have you all work with one of the 2 above. So when I experience, you might want to use what that experience or that need was or that feeling was around social media or your digital life. So when I experience anxiety, I remember that I am boundless. Right? So you can pull in that feeling that you had when you were interacting with the element, what you were bringing in to your life. And you can also acknowledge what you're feeling in that moment, whether that is sadness, anxiety, overwhelm. The second one, I create space to rest before I use Instagram. I create space to rest before I pick up my phone. I create space to sing before I decide to play my games for the day. So this one I think is also really practical and can be used around a very specific habit that you're working on. And we know that when we create space, it doesn't mean that we're not going to do the thing, right? It just offers us a pause. And I would say, as someone who is highly sensitive, I found this particularly helpful. I don't know, I actually think I forgot to mention this, but I did want to say that many folks who are highly sensitive, which just means basically that you experience the sensory aspects of life with intensity, there are some folks who seek out those sensations. So we are also really adapt to being addicted to technology. And so finding other ways that I can experience high sensation without having to rely on those is really important. And I find that creative writing is one of those ways that I can experience joy. I can kind of grow my imagination that doesn't rely on an external tool. And yet, I also have balance, right? So I use those tools as well without judgment for myself. And so, yes, how was that? I know we're about at time. And so I'd love to hear. Let's see, we have Jen. I create space to meditate before I start my day. Oh, that's wonderful, love. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Anyone else want to share their mantras?
And anyone can feel free to also talk out loud. You don't necessarily have to put in the chat. So we have about 5 minutes of integration if anybody wants to put out there, share anything about what Pinta just did and how it was for you.
Yes, would love to hear your feedback too.
Norma, are you trying to share?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes. I was gonna say that I create space to relax before I use Instagram. I use Instagram. I like Instagram a lot. I use that a lot. So I need to create more space to rest before I use that and relax. Because I think I use it to get like a entertainment from it to relax, but I don't want to have to use that to relax. I want to depend on my own being to relax in myself and not depend on looking at others perform to do that.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies can adapt and find ways to rest. And I'm hearing that you're looking to incorporate other ways to rest to feel more
Yes.
empowered, right? To feel more
Yeah,
empowered.
yeah. And I think meditation, like Love said, is good.
I agree. It's good for me for sure. And there's so many different kinds too, right?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the element body scan, elemental one. So
Yeah.
that was cool. And
Yes.
it was interesting I didn't choose fire because usually for anyone who's met me and knows me knows I have a fire in me and I can be very intense with it. And it's a beautiful part of me and also can be a bad part of me at times. But this time I chose water, which is interesting because I'm fearful of water. I'm terrified of water. I like looking at it, but I don't want to go in the water. So it was interesting I chose the water. So that was just something I noticed.
Yeah, I'm so curious about what like water is supporting you with or could support you with in its essence. Maybe if you're not even we don't have to physically, right, like interact with the element, which I think is so great about this exercise. Curious to see.
Oh, are you asking me?
Oh, you can. Yeah, I was just
Okay, sure, I'll
so
share. And then yeah, so for me, I thought about water and how it if something is in its way, it will just cut through it over time. And I feel like I'm at that point in my life where I left my high stress job in July and I've just been nobody get in my way. I'm gonna not not aggressive, I'm not harming other people, but I will find a way. There's a block in front of me. Okay, I will figure out a way to cut through it and get around it and like keep going. So that's why water felt like it called me today.
thank you for sharing that, Sarah. That's powerful. And congratulations for, making that change for yourself. Anyone else? Last thoughts. I really am so appreciative of Sarah and Fernando for having me here. This was so much fun, and I deeply appreciate all of your presence here today. I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Binta. And actually, what we did today is a great segue into what our next webinar is, and it's with Fernando and I. It's called Breaking the Cycle, Understanding Your Tech Triggers and Patterns. So we'll go a little deeper, a different way than Binta went today, but all the same, very valuable. So this will be an introduction to our core curriculum and our cohort-based program. So the next 4 sessions that we'll have, we have 2 in December, 2 in January, will be much more focused on what we offer the Mindful Tech Club, but obviously it's not going to be the full 90-minute session. It's just going to be 20 minutes of an intro. So we'd love to see y'all there. I'm going to share the link right now, and you can send it to anybody. Send it to the people in your life who you can just send it passive aggressively and say, hey, I think you need to come to this. No, don't actually do that. But Thanksgiving's next week, so it's a good time to say, hey, Uncle Bob, I noticed you're on your phone a lot. I think you need to go to this webinar. So, bring your whole family. The whole family can do the whole cohort program together, right? Imagine that, a whole family. Honestly, at this point, it needs to be the whole family. But I put the link in the chat, and you can check out our whole Luma calendar there. And we have, yeah, the next 4 sessions will be 2 in December, 2 in January, and then I have in-person events in Philadelphia, Fernando, and Miami. So if you all have any questions about the Mindful Tech Club, you can find our website. It's themindfultechclub.com. All our socials, aside from X, is at the Mindful Tech Club. And X, it's just the Mindful Tech Club because we couldn't put that long of a name. And then Binta's information is in the event link. And I don't know if you want to pop that in, Binta, as well. If you want to contact her, learn more about what she does. She has an Instagram and email, and I think you're working on your website as well, Binta. So that will be something that will be live at some point. And glad to hear it, Norma. I also loved what you said. So, and here at the Mindful Tech Club, we are not here to shame anybody. We're never here to say this is a problem. I mean, yes, it's a problem, but we're not here to say you're wrong what you're doing, because unfortunately it was designed this way. And so just remember that as y'all go through the week and then beyond, if y'all come to our future sessions, we are all on this journey together. I was a social media addict for over 8 years. It was not over one weekend, like Binta said. It was not one weekend. It was slowly coming off of it, deleting the apps, saying, okay, you can't go on it for a week, can't go on it for 2 weeks. And then, there's relapse that can happen. So this is why the Mindful Tech Club exists, so we can support y'all, because doing it alone sucks and it's really hard. It's really hard to stick to it, especially when everybody around you is on their phones and it's constantly in your face. So that's why we built this. We want to build community around this. The cohort is a great opportunity to go deeper into understanding why you use technology the way that you do and how you can use it to your benefit, because it is a powerful tool. We wouldn't all be on this call without it. I wouldn't have met Binta without it. Fernando and I want to be able to work together. He's he's in Miami. So there's such beautiful things with technology, but there's also horrors, and that's why we're here to support you and hold space for the both the negatives and the positives, and help you to go more towards positive behavior as well. So, like I said, thanks to all of you for coming, and I hope that y'all check us out at our next event, and if you can't make the next event, any of the future events. They're on Wednesdays right now. Maybe we'll diversify it in the future, but at present, that's what we're doing. And thanks again, Binta, so much for guiding us this evening.
Thank
And
you.
if you need to say anything, I don't know if you want to add anything to what I said.
No, that's pretty much everything. Thank you, Binta, for a great session.
Thank you so much.